Welcome back, everyone, to Season 2, Episode 10 of Into the Black. Here we are, stranded on Arquand,
Bum
the
bum
psychic planet.
bum bum bum.
I like to give stuff 1925 sci-fi names. Um, I can already see Percy with a laser gun holding Pip on the cover of this one. Um,
Hey, man.
Sadly, tonight we do not have everyone's best friend and Brandon. He is, I believe, stuck in a time anomaly somewhere.
Yep.
So hopefully he won't come out as an old man, but we'll see.
He's just looping.
Or he'll come out as like a toad, like in that one Star Trek episode. But our remaining cast in the top left, played by Jake, is pissed off Pip the Manic Mechanic. In the top right, played by Alex, is Paranoid Percy, the super spooky operative. And in the bottom, all by herself, because she's just so wide, Massive Maynala, the buff bureaucrat, played by Lily. When last we had left our heroes, they had located the planet Arquand, investigated an unusual space station, one that seemed to have been abandoned in a hurry. Gone on board a colony ship carrying construction supplies called the Somnambulist, which had all of the valuable construction supplies and vehicles and equipment, but nothing in the way of thrusters, in the way of a power core, or anything that might stop radiation. All of that had been stripped.
Right.
They've found limited information on data cores. Most of it's been corrupted from sitting idle for 60 years and being exposed to this strange, seemingly animated radiation.
Yes.
When Pip and Percy attempted to go to the surface, they were scanned by something, or probed, or investigated. Unclear, and it damaged their ship in such a way that they crash-landed. But thanks to some very fancy flying on Percy's part and some quick thinking on Pip's, they were able to land unharmed. However, this strange radiation anomaly seems to be affecting Percy mentally.
Just bit. At the end of last session, I was setting up psychic diagnostic machines with Dr. Vazan to try and see if there was a way for me to reach out telepathically to the nebula next time. I have to wait for the pills I'm on to fade.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So there's a couple hours left until we can probably do that. But yeah, that was the thing that we were working to set up in that time at the end of last session.
And we're going to start with you, Maynala.
Right.
Maynala, you're up on the ship. The last couple times you've tried to communicate with Pip and Percy, they haven't responded.
Yeah.
You've
Not encouraging.
transmitted a message, but you haven't got anything back. You and Dr. Vazan have been working on this psychic diagnostic machine, but unfortunately, the psychic energies are kind of funny and difficult to nail down or amplify like this, the way you're talking about. And as you're working, Bree and Klob come in. And Klob says, Maynala, Bree and I have been talking, and we have an idea.
Okay. Yeah, I'm willing to hear any ideas at this point.
I think we could get some more people down to the surface if we wanted to.
And why would we want to do that? Other than
help Pip and Percy.
All right. Yeah, we've had, I mean, you know as much as we haven't had good communications with them, and Percy definitely sounds out of sorts from what Pip was saying.
Bree sort of holds out like a little tablet and pulls up some data for you and says, we've been looking at the data from when their ship crashed, and it looks like there's a radiation belt that reacted with their power core. Seemed to wake something up, draw its attention.
Was it coming out of the nebula or from the planet?
Hard to tell from here. You could tell from the planet, though.
All right.
From here, we think that if you were to coast through that radiation belt, totally cold, it might not notice you.
Not true.
She would say, if we coast through it powerless, it won't react to the power core.
So if we give you a nudge in the right direction to start, you think you'd be able to land safely?
We could certainly try.
What about getting back?
Eh, unsure. It should work from either direction. Build up enough speed on the fighter or something, and then coast through.
Getting enough energy to take off from the surface will be harder than sending you out just from space straight, but
We took the fighter, though, didn't we?
You did take the fighter through.
Yeah.
You see on the illustration on the pad. It looks like an escape pod. Is what Klob is suggesting you two go down in.
and then everybody come back in the fighter?
It's just an idea if we want to get down to the surface.
All right. I think it's a good plan, and we should keep it in our back pocket. Try and see if you can work on ways to get back to. And you can ask Visoff for help. If he has any ideas.
They head off and they go work on that.
And I also say, like, you can also talk with Gesh and Sek and I can't remember all their names. Kel and
Tench and Kel.
Yeah, and see if they have any ideas too. They're pretty smart from everything they've learned from Pip. They might be able to tinker something together.
They head off to go try to work the problem some more. We're going to cut back to the surface. Pip and Percy, you just come out of sort of these denser trees into this sort of clearing, still covered by canopy and trees that have grown up, but it's clearly a settlement. There's those prefab buildings you saw before. They're all overgrown and wind-beaten and weather-damaged. Not very badly. It seems to be quite temperate and comfortable here. But they all look 60 years old. Things overgrown. The trees with their big purple, broad leaves stretching out seem to block most of the sunlight down here. Most of the weird nebula glow.
This was named Settlement 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they felt comfortable enough to build 2 of these places. That's encouraging.
Fair enough. Let's see if we can find any parts.
I'll take some perception checks to look around to find some parts, to find anything useful.
Oh! But I'm so good at looking. Headache is very distracting.
My perception is plus 12.
That's a bunch.
So I get a 15, and I'll set my drop down. Also, tachometers, but I think you already did that.
Yeah. So with those 15s, you don't find anything out here, but you do notice that as you're looking around at some of these buildings, one of them looks to be some kind of like vehicle garage or vehicle bay, motor pool of some kind. And it's the vines have grown over the door and have sort of sealed it shut. Not like they're trying to, just like the vines have grown up here and now the door will not open easily.
Well, I bet there's a fixer-upper in there.
We'll see if we can get in there. I take the mining laser off my back. Choom.
Yeah, let's see. Not very confident.
It goes like it's wood, like you're cutting through wood and a garage door.
The garage door's metal, at least.
It's like this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a garage door.
It's like some corrugated steel, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, right through it.
Think you using enough dynamite there, Butch?
And as you thunk the door back, instead of like that musty, humid air, a bunch of fresh, dry air rushes out past you.
Oh, that was nice. We should have kept that in there and we could have breathed it.
It's fine. It's not like the thing was airtight. It was wood.
It seems inside there has been protected from being out in the elements.
Absolutely.
You go inside. Do you go inside?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. You go inside, and the motion sensor lights on the floor flicker to life, sensing people inside. There appears to be power. You see in the corner there's a portable environmental control system. Seems to be keeping it nice in here.
Ooh.
There you go.
and you see two moderately sized trucks that seem to be built for this kind of terrain. Big tires, scoops, sort of. They're like work trucks. And they seem to be in really good shape.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm gonna, pop the hood on one of them. Take a look.
Looks great. It's all here.
Test start.
I'm gonna check the other one too.
Looks good as well.
Great.
Actually, you look at this other one, and there's one piece missing.
Which piece?
The
engine.
the secondary power buffer is not there.
Ah, I see. The secondary power buffer.
What's the fuel levels on these things?
They're both full. Their batteries are fully charged.
Oh, they're electric. Nice.
Do the batteries like recharge, or do you swap them out?
You gotta you want to give me a perception check to look around this place. Percy, you look around, you sort of pick some stuff up, you find a little set of tools next to a partially taken apart power buffer.
Well, I found your power buffer, Bear Pip.
Aha!
You also find a couple of spare batteries for the trucks. They're big honkus batteries, and sort of some recharging power collector panels.
Got 2 Honkus brand batteries here.
Honkus, hey, they hold good charge. You can't find those anymore.
Yeah, no, Honkus went out of business for a bunch of labor violations.
I mean, that's why they were able to make such good batteries for so cheap.
These things last forever. So yeah, you find those big batteries. You find the little partially it's if someone was working on it and then put it down and left.
Just like everything else we saw on the station, yeah.
Exactly like everything else you saw on the station.
Maybe you could probably throw this back together just in case we need the second truck.
Yeah, I'll
Pip, what's your engineering modifier?
a fuck ton.
Many.
Engineering plus 18.
Yeah, you don't even have to look. Like, you would put these together like at the dinner table growing up.
Yeah.
So you nimbly put it together, all together, put it in the truck. Both trucks will start if you try to start them.
Excellent.
Nice.
Cool, so you said there's more building?
In here there's a little more building, yeah.
Let's look around.
You go to the back door, sort of have to jimmy the locking mechanism, and then you are able to sort of thump it open. And as you push it open, it sort of has to open against sort of overgrowth on the floor. And as you look in, there are 3 humanoid shapes in the shadows.
Gun out.
Just sort of standing, sort of awkwardly stiff, 3 abreast. And they're standing
not moving?
They're obscured by shadow. They don't move at all.
I'll turn on my light.
Oh, wait, no. Shh, dark vision.
Oh, right, that's right.
Percy, as you turn on your dark vision, you see that these humanoid silhouettes are not people. It looks like vines and roots have grown into this room.
Into
And-
the shapes of people.
Yes, they have grown into the shapes, roughly, of humans.
Vines and Groots.
Vines and roots.
Groots.
They don't have faces, but they look like humanoid shapes.
Someone made an interesting art project here.
Somehow I don't think that this was made by people.
If you're starting to sound like me.
I mean, we've seen some funky psychic shit on this planet now, so... I don't know, like sentient plants who are trying to look like human. Maybe the people wandered off into the jungle, became part of the plants, and now the plants, they're trying to become back like the people they were.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea.
Sorry, I was reading some pulp sci-fi on the way here.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Or probably pulp
it's a
fantasy.
precursor to science fact. I want to go inspect these tree people.
Feel
Tree
free.
bowl.
You go up, they're made of roots, they're rough, they have sort of a bark
But no bite.
No bite. They
Interesting.
don't move. They don't react. They feel like the other roots, just they're shaped distinctly like humans.
Huh. They're not like pointing at anything. They're just standing there.
Nope, just standing there.
Interesting. Is there anything behind them?
Give me a perception check to look for stuff in this room.
Ba, 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 ba.
You kind of go up to them and you sort of push the middle one aside, and out that broken window, and a little ways away, you see sort of an overturned crate. Sort of, it's on its side. The lid has partially fallen over, and it's kind of grown over with a bunch of growth. And there's nothing else around it.
There's something out there. I'm gonna go check it out.
All right. I'm gonna keep comms open and be like, just don't stop talking. Just.
Well, what would you like me to talk to you about? Would you like to hear my newest theories on the chicken's favorite TV show?
Solar Defenders.
Solar Defenders.
Yes. Just start telling me your theories about Solar Defenders.
Minala, what messages have you tried to send to Pip and Percy?
Just very basic things like, status update from them, is everyone safe and healthy? We're working on a solution to get you back to the ship. Have you encountered any hostiles? Like anything. An array of messages.
Pip and Percy, you receive all of those.
All at once.
When she sends them, you get them.
Oh, okay.
With the fighters' comms, you are able to punch through the radiation and send messages back, but your hand terminals aren't enough.
Okay, are our hand terminals enough to talk to the fighter and have the fighter do it?
You can certainly try that.
Okay. All I was going to say is that, sorry, I wanted to finish the thought. I was telling Percy to keep talking while he investigates, and so he can start telling me his theories about the show and what's going to happen this season.
Solar Defenders, University Nighters.
Big stuff.
But what I'm going to do is start, so I already finished doing the thing. I want to load the spare batteries into one of the trucks. And like any other tech I see around here, spare parts, anything like that. It's a garage. There's
Totally.
stuff all sorts around. Just load it all up just start loading it all up into one of the trucks. So that if we need to get going, we can just do that.
Yeah, totally. You can just put anything that looks useful in the truck.
Yep.
What does the truck have on it on the front of it in the way of like jungle clearing? Right.
It seems to have this old school sort of like big sort of scoop that's really sharp.
Gotcha.
And it looks like you might be able to like energize it very temporarily. Chews up a lot of power, but it might kind of be like a laser scoop to cut down trees and stuff.
Cool. And does it like dump out to the side? Like
Yeah.
cool. It splits
But
down
that looks
the
like
middle
it'll
and dumps.
chew up a lot of power.
Yeah. That's what the spare batteries are for.
Got the two Hawkins.
Yeah. Yeah, Pip. If you want to try to use the fighters' comms to talk back, you can.
All right, cool. I'm gonna, now that we've got a little downtime and we're not running from those birds anymore,
Yeah.
I'll sit down, do a little programming, connect back out to the fighter, remotely connect, sync up its comms to our comms, wire them open, be like, Mainala, can you hear me? Coming in. The fuck are we calling ourselves? Bluebird? Bluebird, do you hear me?
A green goose.
Oh, sorry,
Wait,
You hear him.
green
Manala.
goose. No,
You hear him.
gray
Manala.
goose?
It's garbled, but you can hear him.
Why are
It's,
you talking about?
It's crunchy, but he's coming in.
Why are you talking about foul?
That's that's the name of the ship.
Are you okay?
I don't know who's sitting on the con. Like,
Hey, are you okay?
yeah, we're all right. We crash landed, but due to my excellent engineering skills and some good flying by Percy,
Can you fly the ship or not?
what?
Like, is the ship in flying condition right now?
The ship is not currently in flying condition, though we're working on it. There are also some creepy psychic bird things that they're not here now, so it's fine.
Okay, well, don't touch those. They sound really dangerous. Just, yeah. Don't touch them.
Yep.
We already
Acknowledged.
touched them.
Roger.
Oh my god. Do you say that over comms that you already touched them?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
Are
fine.
you at least
We're fine.
Are you at least wearing your vac suits?
Are we?
I think we're not.
No, the air is
Alright.
perfectly breathable.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
air was
it's
fine.
fine. Why would we? Waste of a good vac suit. It'll get all
Like,
dirty. To dry
Percy,
clean it.
Percy is right. Arquand is super nice.
Hopefully,
I
your
told
skin's
you.
not having a reaction. I just, but my curiosity is gonna overcome and get the better of me, and I'll say, describe the birds, and I'll start making a sketch from what they say.
Better than that, I've got video. It'll take a little while for it to upload over this spotty connection, but I will put some error checksum on it and then send it up so that it'll take a while, but it won't be distorted at all.
It's like 240p.
And then I'll ask, before you start sending that, well, we still have a connection, to describe why they were weird. We don't need to repeat that here, but you can just tell me what happened.
I want to remember it was there was a circle of them, and then they started doing this psychic like lightning bolt thing, right?
No?
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 What did they do?
No, they flew around and then they landed and then they were
You
like looking
saw
at the
them at
spot, and then
different
the
times.
radiation was in that circle.
That's what
No,
I
and-
mean. That's what I mean. The
and you-
radiation was.
And you saw them at different times.
Yeah, that was the other thing that was weird about them. Okay, yeah.
I
And they
would-
didn't have eyes, right?
They did not have eyes.
Were they green?
They were like a dark green color.
Green geese.
I wear the
Fine.
cheese. It does not wear me.
It's for the cheese slices.
Excellent. So Pip is setting up, talking to Maynala, before that conversation happens, and sort of as it happens, time is funny. Percy, you get to the box.
I'm just saying, 2 words. Lunar Defender, Season 4. Count on it. Popped open.
You sort of pull the vines off. You pull the lid out of the way, and this box is sort of turned on its side. The contents partially poured out. You find a bunch of some personal effects. Nothing important. Things like little metal objects, pins, coins, keepsakes, and 2 journals
Ooh.
written on this sort of like heavy plasticky paper that has not degraded at all.
Smart. Cool, I'll take those.
One says lab journal, and then a date that seems to be pretty close to when it appears that this all happened, like everyone left. I think about 7 days before it happened.
You can
I
tell
need to check
because
their lab etiquette. Did they sign and date every page?
Mm-hmm. This is a lab book. This is a lab note. It's done very well. The other one appears to just be a diary. If you open the lab book, can I get a physical science check from you?
Sure. I reduced them DCs by 5.
just all physical
This
science
book-
checks.
Yep.
Damn.
This book is filled with measurements and data about these sort of weird radiation phenomena they've been experiencing. Sort of these weird little radiation blooms that show up and then go away.
Does the lab book and the journal, do they belong to the same person?
They appear to. They're
Is
in the
the
same
name-
handwriting.
Is there a name? Does it can have a name?
The name is Dr. Sarah Hallion.
Mm. And these dates, I presume, are 60 years ago?
Dr. Sarah what?
Hallion.
Got it. You
Mm-hmm.
said there were coins?
Yeah.
Just ready.
Not a lot of stuff in here, including some coins, if that interests anyone.
Yes, the coins interest me. Tell me where they're from.
I can take some pictures. Send them to you.
Yeah, if you send me photos of the coins and photos of the birds, I can do some research.
Cool. Percy, you're looking through your. It's a bunch of measurements and data on this phenomenon. Like they're collecting data on this thing to study it. The other book is a journal. Talking about how it's the start. They're some of the first colonists down. She's here with her daughter, and her husband. They're very excited to be working here. Sort of talks about daily life in the colony, setting up this new place where people are going to live, the struggles of finding, a good well, and so and so's car keeps breaking down. Um, and then there seems to be a turn. Um, she starts talking about uh, people behaving strangely,
Hmm.
uh, getting sick, doing things that seem kind of dumb, not being able to like think through an action, and then they do something silly and hurt
Dumb or
themselves.
like out of character?
Both,
Okay.
like I think the specific instance is someone, you know, doesn't realize that they shouldn't leave something on all day; it'll just drain the battery, or they are forgetful, or they forget things they should know. Um, and the doctors are saying, well, this makes sense. It's probably exhaustion or stress. Setting up a new colony is a hard job, but she doesn't buy it. She thinks there's something more. A couple pages later, there's reference to animals behaving strangely.
Like animals that they had domesticated, or the wild animals here?
The wild animals here behaving strangely, and of course, the biologist is saying, well, it's an alien planet. They're weird. But she thinks there's something else going on. They're not behaving like animals. Unfortunately, she doesn't go into detail.
Huh.
Few more pages go by, and the last entry in this notebook, as the notebook is now filled, um, is that she has, as you're sort of skimming this notebook, um, she has signed up to go with a small expedition and set up a research outpost about 100 kilometers from here. Um, and she thinks that based on some of the orbital surveys that it'll be a good spot for her to study this weird radiation anomaly some more.
Hmm. Interesting. I'll
And
relay
then
all this.
the conversation with Maynala happens.
Huh.
Um, Percy, as you finish that conversation with Maynala, is there anything else you two want to tell her?
I believe so.
I think we told her everything. Yeah, right?
I can tell her about the tree people, but I didn't mention those.
Tree people.
Tree people, yeah.
What do you
Trees look
see?
like people.
Vines.
Are you talking? Have you communicated with them?
They didn't do anything. They're just vines.
Well, just tell them that you're friendly in case they're very slow to respond. You don't know.
That's a good call.
Maynala, mid-sentence, Percy goes, you lose Percy. Percy's signal.
Great.
Percy?
Percy, mid-sentence, you lose Maynala's signal. Interference.
Dude, just...
Except you still there?
Percy?
You guys can hear each other, but it's a little funny.
Okay.
It's a little crackly.
I send asshole zipping down the hallway to Percy's location really fast.
Cool. As he's going to be there in like
I want to take a
second.
look around for those birds.
Percy, you look up to look around for the birds, and your eyes sort of painfully focus on this little lizard that's sitting on top of the box. It seems too big, but it's right there, like that sort of weird. What's the weird focus called? The tilt shift.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it feels looking at this little lizard, and then you sort of force your eyes to refocus. And like those birds, the lizard doesn't have eyes. And you refocus, and you're able to look at the whole top of the box, but still, like, that is difficult, making your focus this big. And you see there are 6 more of them in a little circle, and they're all looking at you.
Am I in the circle?
No, they're on the box, looking up at you, and they're in a little circle. And Pip, that's when your drone arrives at Percy's location, and bleep, 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 its radiation alarm goes off.
Percy, get the fuck out of there!
Oh, okay.
Percy, as you try to like rip your focus away from these lizards, which is challenging, like pulling yourself out of VR. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. No, sorry. A will save.
Oh damn.
See. I
Different
will
game. Different
see.
game. You're trying to pull away, and you feel something like pulling a fish hook out
Mm.
the wrong way. You feel
Mm.
something about your psyche
That was
stay
so graphic, and I don't know why.
as you're able to wrest your attention away.
I
Ah.
I have zero experience fishing, so you're like pulling a fish hook out the wrong way, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Imagine getting a fish hook in yourself and then just pulling it.
Yeah, that sounds
Imagine
unpleasant.
you're a fish.
Um, can I get a D3 and then a D4? Two. Your wisdom is reduced by 3.
Oh my god.
By 3?
Yeah. You have no psychic protection.
Oh.
You didn't take the
Yep.
pills.
I don't feel so good.
Do you need some of the pills?
But
What?
you are able to pull away and run wherever you want to go.
Some of the what?
The pills.
The what?
The things that keep you from going crazy on the crazy planet.
We have those.
I get back in the garage.
Oh, the pill. Oh, yeah, the pills. Yeah, I took those.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Get back over here.
Okay.
You're able to jump back inside.
I pull some of the, because we took some extra with us. I take some of the pills, and I measure out a dose,
Mhm.
and I get my little canteen out. As soon as Percy's back in the garage, I pills in one hand, canteen in the other.
Percy, as you're throwing those pills, are you taking the pills?
I don't know.
You gotta tell me.
Percy, take the fucking pills.
I'll take 'em.
You dose yourself. Pip, you're starting to get that headache again, that mild ache. Percy, you take the pills, and you're sort of having this unpleasant double image where you're seeing the lizards and also Pip. And then you take the pills, you swallow them, and slowly it resolves into just Pip.
Whoa. Don't mess with those lizards.
Pip, your drone is keeping an eye on where that radiation bloom is, and because it's not stupid, staying out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the bloom is getting a little bit bigger, and it is moving towards you guys.
Fuck. All right, well,
But it's not moving very quickly.
gather up anything else you can, load it into this truck, and let's get out of here.
Alright.
I'm gonna, real quick, salvage the other truck for parts. Pop off the power converter, pop off the, the battery, pop
Give
off.
me an engineering check because you have 15 seconds.
Oh, you said slow.
Yeah, it's not going to be on you right
30.
away, but it's creeping towards
Yeah, I mean,
you.
I've got the it's a garage, so I've got rather than I'm not doing it by hand. It's like a drill, to do the bolts. It's a ratcheting drill, and I'm like zzz, 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 like a NASCAR driver, right? Or NASCAR, like a pit crew.
You look at this thing and you're able to immediately know everything you can get out in 15 to 30 seconds. And you're like, unplug, zip, 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 and you take those parts.
Cool.
Oh.
Get in the passenger seat.
Okay.
It starts like that even though it's electric. What do you do now?
Drive off.
Garage door in front of you is still grown shut with vines.
Hey, Pip, I've got this location of an outpost, like a research base where this doctor was studying this stuff.
Let's go there.
Yeah.
I'll we don't have to energize the thing in front of us. We can just put it at the right angle, because we blew open part of the garage door. So
Yeah, part of it, yeah.
with this thing, we can just
Cool, give me a piloting check.
All right.
Damn, I missed something important. Rosie needed my help with the cat. What's up?
Percy, you want to assist me
In what?
piloting?
Yeah. I'm fine.
You're helping control the
The scoop.
scoop.
Percy, did you lose more charisma while I stepped out?
Am I what? No, I lost my wisdom.
Oh, you lost your wisdom.
3 points.
3 points?
Oh yeah, that's 20.
Excellent.
That's some fraction.
Pip, you're sort of the seat is not adjusted right, and it's really old, and the wheel is really big, and
Well,
you're like barely able to peek over
it's
it.
sized
But
for a medium creature, I'm sure.
yeah, and but Percy's like controlling the big jungle scoop, lifts it up, and then you gun it, and you bust this door off its hinges, and you're peeling out into the jungle. Um, there seems to be a section where the trees are smaller than the other ones that looks like it was probably once a road.
Okay.
You could also just use the scoop and make your own, but that would be slower.
We'll follow the road.
Cool, you're following this thing, the scoop.
I power up the the GPS screen in the middle, and I'm like, Percy, put in the coordinates. And Asshole, get over here. And Asshole buzzes over, and I'm like, go down to the pedals. Asshole flies down there and is just like stands up on the pedals.
Yep.
And then now I'm like, there we go, and I wire it into my arm.
I think so. Doesn't Asshole have like 4 jets?
Yeah, he's got these like 4 arms that when it lands turn into like spider legs.
2 of the arms go onto the pedals, and the other 2 stick up, and you put your feet on those.
Exactly.
Pedals.
Like much better.
And then you're just like, you reach down, pump, 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 pump.
Get the seat up, yeah.
Much better. Wheel's still really big, but whatever.
Have I been able to reach them since the storm started?
No. No,
Okay,
all
no,
this
that's
radiation
good.
thing is happening. You can't talk to them.
Matches the data I have, so.
Is there something you want to have happening on the ship right now before I do a thing?
Is there a way that I can figure out that that's why we lost comms? Using ship sensors or anything?
Dr. Vazan would be able to tell you that.
I think if we were able to communicate, it might be possible to get a lock on where they are more specifically. And then if we had that and had our sensors pointed towards where they were, that would make sense.
Give me a computers check.
Oh, Lord. That's a terrible plan, but okay.
Assisted by some other people.
Okay. And then I have to add,
Oh, nice roll.
6 to that. So 25.
Plus, Vizan and Dact help you, and that gets you up to 29. All of you together are able to pick up where that signal was coming from. You see the radiation bloom with the ship's sensors, and you're able to follow this tiny, tiny thermal bloom that's some kind of vehicle.
Okay.
Trundling through the jungle.
We don't need to live track them. My goal is to figure out that the radiation is messing up communication and that it has these blooms that happen. That's my goal with this.
You now know that.
Cool. That's great. That helps me so much.
You're bouncing through the jungle, and I'll take since Pip is laser focused on driving right now. Percy, can I get a perception check? Percy, you see something, a group of something is swinging through the trees towards you. They seem to have sort of an odd number of arms, maybe 3 or 5, and then sort of a thick body. And they are swinging through the trees towards the truck to try to cut you off, it seems.
Hey, Pep, relative to yours?
I look.
And you see they look... they're sort of vaguely reptilian, vaguely mammalian, odd numbers of arms. You're not sure where their like mouth or head is. They're creepy looking, and there's 7 of them.
I just saw 6 lizards.
You saw 7 lizards.
Oh, I thought I saw 6. I saw 7 lizards just back there.
7.
This planet likes its 7s. It's like it's Easter or something. I don't fucking know.
Are they gaining on us?
They look like they're trying to cut you off, like head you off. They're on a little intercept course with you.
Maybe we should take a detour into some of the trees, use this laser cutter?
I'm worried it's pretty thick out there. I don't know how far we could go before we'd drain the battery pretty hard. I don't want to do it before we have to.
I don't want to get caught by those things. They're freaky.
Yeah, I don't know. Shit. Where's this
As you
research
guys-
station?
100 kilometers. That way.
I go, all right.
It's probably more like 90 kilometers.
I energize the scoop and hard turn, which will be hard for them to keep up with.
It's true.
Maneuverability.
You cutting through the jungle pretty quickly. And with that, we're going to go into a chase. A simplified chase. Pip, can you make a piloting check for me?
I can indeed.
I feel like I should do a disclaimer.
Mhm.
That Percy's accent has not changed because he's gotten stupider. It's changed because he's no longer as good as hiding his natural accent.
It's very reasonable.
Oof, not too great. 16.
Percy, you go through the jungle and you have take a moment to readjust to driving like this, which is now a totally different experience, and you cut through this huge root that's sticking out of the ground, and that slows you down, and the weird reptile 5-armed ape creatures gain on you.
Okay.
Percy, what would you like to do?
I feel like I want to shoot at one of them.
Your whiz is 13 now.
They are being pests.
Oh, we haven't shot at them yet, and they've been hurting us, so
My God.
Very much hurt me.
fire at will. I mean, no, Will's a nice guy. Don't fire at Will, but
That one. His name is Will.
But that does hit, and these things don't seem to be terribly durable. You hit one, and you sort of stun it, and it falls from the tree, and it is sort of left behind.
I got it. There's only 6 of them now.
Oh, I thought they were on the ground. They're chasing them through the trees.
Yeah,
My
they're
God.
swinging through the trees. It's very gross what's happening. Pip, Pip, what would you do?
keep driving.
Cool, give me another piloting check.
22, a little better.
Ooh, this one's better. You're starting to pull away from them, but you'd like them to be much further away than they are.
Mhm.
Percy.
Here, take
Is
one of these,
there-
and I hand Percy a grenade.
Oh, love.
It's actually an
I was gonna
overcharged
try-
laser pistol, but
I was going to try and do like a smoke screen thing. Is there anything that we have in the bed of the truck that,
ooh.
like, if I
Ooh.
cracked it open, like, lit it on fire, it starts
There's
smoking?
I was gonna say there's some oil, right? Because I grabbed everything in the garage.
Definitely, there's
And if you
definitely like
just-
some industrial lubricant that's definitely flammable.
If you like poured a bit of that like on our exhaust and like it lit a little, we'd create a
Electric
lot of.
exhaust.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll do it.
Percy, there's a can maybe this big of industrial grease that it says danger, flammable, hazardous fumes.
I thought it was
Nice.
inflammable.
Both.
And you have like a laser pistol and like electronics. It'd be easy to ignite.
I do it.
Starts to fizzle and burn, and then this thick red smoke starts pouring out of it.
Nice.
Um,
Bad news
And
is
this-
I've given our location away to pretty much everything except those.
they're gonna make a fortitude save.
Makes sense. I be.
You see, out of this thick cloud of smoke, thump, thump. 2 of them fall to the forest floor.
Nice.
But
How big are
You-
they?
they're 6 or 7 feet across, like tall.
Oh,
They're
wow.
big.
They're chunky.
I was
But
thinking
when you-
like chimpanzees,
monkey.
but
No, they're more like orangutan.
Orangutans.
damn.
As they fall thud heavily to the floor of this forest, you see they're not like laying there inert like you killed them. They're like writhing,
Ooh.
almost seizing, and then one of them you see stop, and it gets up and it runs away. Pip, back to you.
I keep driving.
Are you trying
18.
to drive in the direction of the research station?
Yeah.
Okay.
18, you're able to keep them at this distance.
Okay.
But you see that sort of red bar that is the charge on the Honkus battery hooked up to the thing is depleting.
Already. All right.
Not you're at about 2/3 right now.
Okay, that's fine. We've
That's
got a
fine.
couple spares.
Yeah, you got spares. Percy.
Is the smoke still going?
Yeah, it's still going.
And does it seem that the monkeys are still in the smoke path, or are they going around it now?
I'd take like a dexterity, like attack roll to make sure they get back in the smoke.
Dexterity attack roll. Okay. So would that just be a dex plus 5, which is my BAB?
Yeah.
Or 6? What's
Yeah.
my BAB?
What level are you?
My BAB is 5.
Okay.
Wait, but we're level 7? Oh, because it doesn't go
It
up
doesn't
at the...
scale correct. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Soldiers, I think, are the only full BAB class.
That's a 17.
17. You're able to sort of, let's say you take this big can of burning grease and you just chuck it at them. And it sort of gets fouled up in the trees and maybe causes a couple fires.
Dang.
And they're going to roll their saves.
Not only did we come to your planet and hurt your
They
inhabitants,
rolled
we also
poorly.
are in the jungle.
They
Two
attacked
more
me.
of them
Any minute now, Captain Planet's going to show up. And
do that same thing where they fall down seas and then run away. And the last remaining one, without you doing anything to it, does the same.
So the Captain Planet crossover with Solar Defenders is not until season 6.
Except that that last one that was chasing you fell out, seized, and then stopped moving. But you didn't do anything to it.
Huh. I got him.
The
Great.
radiation dissipates. Pip, you're no longer being chased.
excellent. I'm going to veer us back towards the road so we stop wasting energy.
Cool. Your comms with Manala are back.
Hey, so every
Oh,
time
Crunchy.
these animals get near us, they're in groups of 7, and our comms go off, and Percy gets a bit stupider and
It said
uglier.
that there was a radiation bloom, and then we lost comms. I was able to use the ship sensors to follow that. You always say there's 7 of these creatures. It was the birds first. What was it this time?
Well, then there was the lizards, and now there's creepy monkeys. Like lizard monkeys. I don't know. Hey, I've got a lab book from someone who's studying this radiation. I can send you some pictures of it. You and maybe Vazan can look over it.
Sounds good. Yeah. And I assume you tell me about the research station that you're heading for.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you trust this Dr. Sarah Hallian?
I don't see why she would lie in her own journal.
No, I don't mean like that. I mean, does she seem... This place is very strange. You'd both agree. Does she seem like everything that she's reporting is real?
She was very suspicious of everybody else. I gotta give it to someone who's suspicious of other people.
You would. Okay, well, keep me posted. I'm trying to think if there's any way to protect you from the next radiation blast.
The smoke did pretty great.
Pip, you said there wasn't a way to
As you
get
look back, you
away.
can see the smoke is just billowing into the sky.
Is there... Pip, do you have any equipment down there that could let you detect a radiation storm before it happens? Like with further warnings so you could get away?
I don't know about
Geiger counter.
before, but once it's happening.
I'll try to see if there's any patterns that lead up to a radiation blast like that from up here with the data we gathered from that last instance. And see if there's any other signs that you can look for that aren't the radiation themselves. Something that leads up to it, a pattern.
Okay.
Um,
Once I get us back on the road, I'll be like, Percy, steer for a second. Don't worry, asshole has the gas and brakes. And I reach into the back because it's a truck.
Yeah, there's like a bench back there with stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab one of the batteries. I'm gonna set it in the sort of like in the floor of the middle seat. I'm gonna lean down there for a sec, and I'm just gonna punch out a panel, like just to get underneath. And I'm gonna try and like daisy chain this battery into the system from behind, so that we don't have to live swap them and stop. We can just chain them, and we'll just go from battery to battery.
You know what? I'm gonna say, since this is like a super industrial work truck,
Uh-huh.
that's a feature this car has.
Awesome. Great.
Like you can just do that.
While you're driving, you just set the battery in the center console, and it and swaps them out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's not that fancy. There's
Oh,
just
okay.
a slot for it and a plug.
Okay.
But yeah, that should be a feature of this vehicle.
Awesome.
As you're driving, Asshole detects another radiation spike.
God damn it. Which direction?
But this ahead of you. As if it was waiting for you.
All right.
What do you do?
Go around?
Yeah, I was gonna say we power up
Can't
the
go under it.
plow again, and
Swim through it, not over it.
As you go around, you give it a wide berth. You can't see what's over there, but you appear to be far enough away from it that whatever's over there can't detect you, I guess.
Mhm.
Is there a check that I can do with anybody in the ship who's willing to help me analyze the data of that last radiation bloom and just kind of go through like play-by-plays of everything that we were able to gather from sensors leading up to that moment to see if there's something else besides radiation that seems to happen before those events that they may be able to detect?
A physical science check would do it.
Ooh, okay.
And you can do it, or Dr. Vizan could do it, and you can assist.
I feel like my physical science is pretty good.
Wait, I thought it was
Yeah,
Dr.
you-
Viz. I'm confused about who's who.
No, it's Dr. Vizan.
The doctor is on. The weapons guy is off.
Yeah. Because his
Yep.
safety is off.
Got
You
it.
The
sort of
doctor's
go
in.
downhill a little bit, downhill of where you detected it. You're kind of creeping slowly through the trees, cutting down when you have to, but going around when you can to not attract attention to yourself. And you come to a stream that's maybe fordable, but it's unclear if you can get through it from here.
Cool. I'll stop next to it for a minute and send Asshole to fly out over it and just do some depth measurements.
Asshole does. You're sure you can ford this one. It's not moving very quickly.
Okay.
But then something seems weird for a moment.
Also, I was wrong. My physical science skill is not good, so I'll assist when that becomes relevant.
And you kind of double take at the data you're getting from Asshole, and you realize this stream is flowing uphill.
Cool.
Oh!
Unclear how.
That's cool.
Magnets.
No magnets. And then Asshole kind of gets closer, and the water is very clear. And you see on the bottom of this stream there are these little plant-like structures that look like little paddles that are furiously paddling.
Huh. And they're sending.
They're all up along the side of this just barely uphill slope stream, pushing it uphill.
That's really cool.
Do they seem like, I mean, I'm not there, but do they seem like they're made of biomatter or like they're
They're
metal?
plants. They look.
Oh, they are. Oh, okay, interesting.
They look like little underwater plants.
If I have comms with you right now and you tell me about that, I ask you to get me a sample.
I don't know about that, but
Why not?
Got you
There's
some
so
video.
many, right? You said there's a bunch.
I don't want to go down in the water and grab a strange plant. It might eat
I'll
me.
do it.
Just a little one. Just pick up one of the little sick ones.
I'll do it.
Percy, that would be unwise.
I'm out. I'm doing it.
Percy, it's trivial. You reach in the water, you grab one, it plucks right off, and it sort of keeps wiggling for a little while, and then it stops.
I want to put it in a vial with some water so that it doesn't dry out.
Sure. Starts to slowly wiggle again.
Look at it go. It's so cute.
It's cute.
As you guys are all talking on comms, your sensors detect that the bloom is moving slowly towards you guys.
I give you a heads up.
All right.
That's better get a move on. More radiation coming.
I get everybody back in the truck, and then I slowly into the river.
You creep, and then you realize you're not going to clear the edge of that sort of bloom, and you feel the truck kind of shudder, and its sort of electronics start to fail.
Oh, I gun
a
it.
little
If I see that the bloom is even starting to get close, I'm gonna gun it.
Okay. Um, you gun it. Uh, this seems to somehow alert the bloom. It pursues you. Um, it's somehow much faster than it was before.
Uh,
Uh, it sort of starts to engulf the truck. The truck sort of starts to lurch and stop. You guys both get that sort of headache, but Percy, you don't have to roll anything. Um,
Whew.
and then as you look outside the windows of your now dark truck, you see sort of saurian forms creeping outside, looking around, searching for
Velociraptors.
you, clicking as if
Ah,
echolocating.
not nice.
They look around, but they don't seem to see you. Because just like everything else you've encountered on this planet, they are blind.
So they're blind, but clearly they can hear?
And they're
Echolocating.
clicking, searching, but they're a little ways off. They're not quite close enough to you. And they pass. And the truck turns back on.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And you guys continue on?
I really feel like the local fauna doesn't want us here.
Just a
What's-
little bit.
Can I
And look,
ask?
I don't want to be here anymore either, but
The flora seems great. Look, he's waving to me.
maybe
I
there's a flora v fauna civil war on this planet.
What's the interval between this radiation bloom and the last? Like, have the interval between radiation blooms accelerated?
Let's say you and Vizan are looking at the data, and you're looking at things, and you're like, the intervals are, there's no pattern. The intensity has nothing to do with it. The type of creature, who knows?
Okay.
And you're looking at it for a while, and then Vizan sort of seems to get an idea in their head, and then they turn it around to you, and the only thing that correlates with all of the events is communications between the ship and them.
Oh.
So we shouldn't talk. Like, the more that we use
Seems-
comms,
Uh,
the shorter the interval is between radiation blooms.
it seems to correlate. The longer you are talking, the more quickly the radiation bloom happens.
Okay, I go back on comms, relay that information, and say I'm gonna go dark. Tell me when you get to the station.
Copy that.
Cool. And we'll just stay dark and then analyze anything else we can. Getting ready for me to try to commune with this thing as soon as my pills wear off.
You two up there, you arrive at the research station. It's 4 buildings and a comms tower. And on the comms tower, there's a communication antenna as well as a bunch of sensing equipment.
If I just scan through frequencies, it's not like sending any signal out, right?
It's currently
Danielle
not
Rousseau
transmitting.
style.
It is currently not transmitting.
Hmm.
Oh, you want to check out the tower pit?
Yeah, let's go. Well, if comms are the thing setting it off, then we want to be careful. Maybe putting out a giant comms tower, but
Oh yeah, no, we shouldn't do that at all. I'm just saying you and I should check that out.
yeah, let's go.
'Cause I want to see if there's another journal from this lady.
Yeah, let's see if we can find some more stuff.
Pip and Percy, you guys get out and I'll take perception checks as you investigate the facility.
Investigate.
Investigation.
Sorry, you want perception?
Mhm.
Cool.
18. Not
Because
rolling
there's no
amazing today.
investigation in this game.
31.
Balls, yo.
Percy, you get out of the truck, you start walking over, and then you look up into a tree and you see this feline / avian creature sitting on a tree branch.
So a sphinx.
Sort of sphinxy, but creepier.
Oh.
Just like everything on this frickin' planet.
And it's looking down at you.
If
You
I
can't-
move, does it track me?
It does, and you can't seem to break eye contact with it for a good 5 to 7 seconds.
Wait, it has eyes?
It seems to have something similar to eyes.
Well, then this isn't an evil animal. This is this is something else.
Hello?
What's your name?
What's your name?
Percy, what's your name?
Percy, what's your name?
Percy, what's your name?
Percy.
And then it bounds off into the jungle.
I'm gonna see how long you'd go. That was weird.
That's the local species. Say my name, say my name.
Say my name, say my name.
Pip, while Percy is communing with the local fauna,
Destinus Childus.
Destiny's Childess.
That's the genus. Yeah.
You find sort of what looks like to be the central control room for this place, and you're able to jimmy open the door. You go inside, and you see sort of signs of struggle, slash marks on the walls from some large creature, and then you take a step, and your foot crunches a bone.
Yeah.
Humanoid. Looks like a femur.
Oh.
All right.
And as you keep investigating, you find more evidence of human and humanoid remains.
Gross.
Very, very old. Nearly totally decomposed. The bones just turn to dust when you touch them.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna examine the bones and look for, like, trauma.
If you're very careful with one, you can, and you do find some of them look like they've been clawed or bitten or crushed. Looks like wild animal attack.
Hmm.
If you had to guess, maybe half a dozen bodies throughout the whole outpost.
That's not good. Does any of them look like a child?
None of them look like children. They all appear to be adults.
Alright, well, maybe Sarah and her daughter weren't here. Maybe they made it. Maybe her daughter was really tall. I don't know.
Maybe living in the nebula makes you really tall. Who knows?
Percy, you see that creature again.
Inside?
No, you sort of look out the window and you see out the window. It's sitting on this little grassy mound that's only maybe a couple feet high. And it's
Okay.
staring at you.
I kind of want to go towards it.
As you sort of go to open the door and go outside to go towards it, it's not there, but the mound still is.
Go look at the mound.
You go over to the mound, and as you get close, it's clear it's not a root. It's sort of shaped like a person in a fetal position.
What the fuck, dude?
And as you go down, if you investigate more, just by looking at it, it's clearly not one of those root people, but it's a person.
Oh. It's like just their bones?
Really much more of a skeleton,
Yeah.
and the skeleton
is there anything
clutching
on them?
something. The
Yeah,
skeleton is clutching
got?
an object. Another one of those notebooks.
Dr. Halion, I presume. If I may.
If you take the notebook, it is one of hers.
But if you don't take it, it's someone else's.
Last entry
Yep.
is drums.
You take it and you read it. If you read it, you see that she gets here, she collects more data, there's more observational data in here. There's descriptions of events similar to what you've all experienced. With these sort of 7 creatures and accompanying the blooms, following comm signals. And then towards the end, it says, just at the top of the page, it just says hypothesis. And she's put a bunch of ideas, and one that she keeps seeming to come back to that isn't scrambled out is somehow the planet is alive. The plants or the radiation or something. And it's trying to make us part of the ecosystem.
Ooh.
Like accelerated evolutionary adaptation.
But it killed
No way.
them.
Did it kill
And it
them, or did
says-
it change their form and incorporate them into the ecosystem? Isn't her body now fertilizer?
Yeah, but
From the
first it
planet's
got
perspective?
killed.
And it says, the last entry is, I'm going to try and convince everyone that we need to go underground. We have to hide.
Underground.
That seems like accelerating the process of becoming part of the planet. I don't know about that.
So these
We
are
need to
human remains.
go underground and we need to leave.
Do we have any idea from reading that, like underground, like specifically where? Like, does she say like the caves of something or other, or?
It does have some possible locations where I think these cave systems might be a good place.
Okay.
Interesting. All right, I'll head back to Pip.
Cool. What else
Find
is
anything in
You
here?
find Pip.
what else is around here that I could look at?
If signs of struggle, clearly they were attacked by sort of saurian creatures that probably had big scary jaws and claws, and they were all killed by them. They appeared to flee. It looks like maybe some of them got away. You think more than half a dozen people would live at this installation,
Okay.
and there's only half a dozen bodies you can find.
What was the purpose of this installation? What were they doing out here? Just
Looks like research. Looks like
just observational research, or?
they've got all kind. They've got radio antennas. They've got all kinds of stuff for like botany and ecology. Like this is just general science station. There's so
Are
much to do. Like
are there
might as
any-
well do everything.
Are there any logs left over, or are there any sensor systems that are still operational?
It looks like some of the sensors will still be operational, and you could turn those on if you wanted. And there are some sort of digital logs that are heavily corrupted, but not beyond repair.
I'd love to get any of the data they have off of those.
I know you would, so I do that for you. You don't even
Cool.
have to tell me.
You just start filling your pockets with the data spheres.
Yeah, I'll even consolidate. Like,
Yeah. Cool. You get all that data.
great.
Whoever wants to record that, feel free.
Lily, you can write that down.
Got it.
I also so we discovered that it was like our radio communications or subspace or whatever it is.
Mhm.
They were triggering these things, but I know they were saying earlier they got a visual lock on us or something or from
The
space?
ship.
Yeah.
We're
the ship
using ship
is
sensors to track the radiation blooms.
and the heat from your truck.
Right.
Got it.
That's how they've been following you.
All right.
which
We're not
she did
trying to
mention.
send any information.
I'm gonna wire up what's essentially a light bulb.
Mhm.
And it's going to send off a particular wavelength of light and heat, like that is not like radio or comms, and would otherwise appear naturally. And like the goal is to not attract these things, and have essentially Morse code, but it'll be binary because it's computers on both ends, like where we can just send really low bandwidth signals back and forth.
Yeah, you set up this sort of weird infrared antenna that will let you send back and forth, basically text.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say if it's not Morse code, I bet it's something that the swarm used.
Ooh, that's gross and cool.
No, but animals and clicking and chemical
Yeah.
signatures, really short.
Something that we
signals.
adapted from them. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like Enigma, right? Like war shit. I don't know.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's this weird swarm-based code that DACT recognizes on the ship.
Figured.
And you guys can now have conversations, but it's in text. You can't send any more complex data than that.
Yeah, we're like
Very-
at station found journal, right? Like
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
collected data, heart.
You guys can just talk, and we'll say that you've set up a little thing to do text to speech.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. I'll just say received. Stay safe.
Always.
Have Bree and Claude made any progress with the Soph or the kobolds about a way to maybe get if we send a rescue party to get them back?
They think that using all the parts from the kobold ships, they might be able to turn 2 escape pods into little short-range ships that they could pilot to the surface, pick up 2 people, and come back.
During takeoff, is there a risk that the equipment's going to go faulty?
Absolutely.
Is there a way that we can build something that is like a radiation shield using the UBPs we have?
You can
I built a
certainly.
Faraday cage around my ship.
You
No,
talk
no,
to
no, no, no,
Vizoff,
just
and he
around
just
the
sort of
engine.
like wipes his brow because they've been working as hard as they can, and he says, "I can certainly try."
I, I feel like you're doing great, and we're gonna need more of those Cosmos if this works.
He laughs and he goes off to start trying to replicate some low Z materials.
Okay. All right.
Low-Z as in like the sort of things you'd find at Lowe's?
Yep.
Okay.
I
Of or relating to the hardware store Lowe's.
Cool.
Low Z.
That's what I figured. I just wanted to double check.
I sent a
Good.
text to Pip and Percy saying, "Working on a rescue plan. You know, like whatever. Like we're working on a rescue. So, all that."
Cool. You what does the ground team want to do now?
Is,
Oh, it sounds like the caves might have been the safest place. You want to?
does
Yeah.
Percy have a way to confirm whether or not that body really is Sarah's?
You
Clutch
could
in
do a
her
DNA
journal.
test.
We could do a DNA test. Yeah, we've got we've got a lab here.
Well, that's pretty advanced. I mean, couldn't you do something even more simple? Like,
Dental
you don't need the
records.
skeletons. It's easy to tell, like, the average age of the person and whether they were male or female and, like, all those things. And, like, if they were malnourished. Like, you can tell a lot just from a skeleton.
We can
with,
grab
like,
dental records, right? Like,
If you got back to your ship, you'd have records from the station.
That's true. So you could get a DNA sample now if there's anything left to sample
So,
from, but
dental records. I mean, like, so like people's teeth are like really unique, and so you just like you literally do a mold of their teeth and you compare it to like this shit at their dentist. Like, this is how we like identify people. Like
Yeah,
when we
no,
all
you
have the
could
skeleton.
no.
totally do that. You would have dental records from the ship, from the station.
gotcha. Cool.
How long would it take to send a dental image over our text connection?
Oh,
Like days.
I was like, I don't even know.
Here.
None of you are dentists. If some of you had, if one of you had profession dentist, I would be like, you know what to look for and can just send the relevant information. But none of you know about dentistry.
What
That
else?
does make sense.
A fingerprint is a really small image.
Sadly, she does not have fingers.
Yeah.
Well, we could. I could dust each of the journals and see if there was only one set of prints. Then it would be hers because she was clutching it when she died.
Oh yeah, if there's no other set of prints on the journal.
Yeah.
That's clever. And I'm going to say the only sets of prints on these journals are yours and one other person's.
There we go. Sure.
All right, so it's got to be her.
Wow.
Sorry, doctor.
Maybe her daughter made it off. We still don't know, right?
We know nothing, Jon Snow.
Johnson. All right.
How long has it been for us roughly since we came down?
About 5 hours.
Oh, that's
Okay,
not very
so
long. Okay.
We've only got but the pills last 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one more hour till I can try to commune with the planet.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Where do you guys head now?
There are other buildings around here, right? Not just the tower.
There's 2 other buildings. One looks to be storage, and the other looks to be housing.
Cool.
Look through storage, see if I find anything useful.
And I'll look through housing.
Give me a perception check. See what you find.
Ba 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 ba. 22.
31.
The worst part about this is that now my perception rolls have gone down by 2
Oh, no.
because they're whiz based.
Oh,
You
no.
look through storage, and you find. What would you like to find?
A special weapon that destroys things that are in groups of 7 and are psychic without eyes.
Oh, there you go. You
That-
find one.
Yes.
No. Give me something cool you'd like to find here.
What about radiation shields? Like a anti-radiation suit.
I was just thinking like electromagnetic disruptors, maybe that could help blind them because they seem to be sensing without
Oh, yeah.
vision.
Sure, you find some.
If they're,
some-
if they're like birds, right, homing in on
you
electromagnetic
find
shit.
some electromagnets that are here, seemingly for some kind of experiment. Some
Cool.
powerful electromagnets. And Pip, as you look through this house, you find under somebody's mattress the biggest dang pistol you've ever seen.
Like, conventional or laser?
Conventional.
Excellent. Ammo?
Uh,
You gotta hold it with your
yeah. You
hands.
find a little box of it.
Like a six
And
shooter?
yeah, basically the bullets are so big, uh, that they like not very many fit in the box, and this thing shoots 4 in its at a time.
Wait,
Damn.
shoots 4 bullets at once?
No, like it can hold 4 bullets.
Oh, okay. Damn, a 4-shot revolver. All right.
Imagine when you load it, because you have like tiny little hands. You're like holding them like this.
Like I feel like for me it's like almost like holding a shotgun, like holding a sawed off, but it's a pistol.
Yeah, basically.
Awesome. I look around, I tie that holster onto my belt, and I hang it off.
Let's say it's a hand cannon bombast.
I don't know what any of those words mean.
I'm gonna send you the information.
Mr. Bombastic.
No. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Cool. I'll text you the data information. So yeah, that's what you guys find.
I'm having a Star Trek idea.
All right.
Do
I
it.
love those.
So, based on the data that we've been able to gather from the radiation bloom and the information from the journal that was relayed to us by Percy, even though I don't have my telepathic abilities fully back yet, is it possible that the radiation coming from the planet is how it's trying to communicate, and could we try to communicate by sending out radiation towards the planet?
That is a Star Trek idea, and I love it.
That is entirely possible.
Basically, yeah. Like, I mean, if you think about it, we communicate through vibration too. That's all sound is, right? So it's just a different kind of energy wave. It's very reasonable for another life form to use another kind of energy wave to communicate.
Yeah.
Like a piano.
So I guess what I want to do at this point is work with probably Bree to see if we can modify any of the ship's arrays to send off radiation and direct it towards the planet. And I also want to work to get like a range of frequencies so that like if one doesn't seem to be good, we can try another.
She says we might be able to modify the particle cannon to do something like that.
Okay. I want to help with that.
You run the risk of it seeming like an attack, but you could also modify the shields to do something like that. Make the whole ship do that.
What are they gonna think? We're gonna
Would I be
attack
able
the
to
whole
have-
planet with our particle beam?
Would it be possible to do that with the shields and still have it be directional, or wouldn't it radiate in every direction?
I mean, I don't know, Percy. We've seen that the energy drains wisdom, so it might not be a very wise planet.
It's wiser now. It's 3 points wiser.
Well, that's only if it's absorbing the wisdom and not just obliterating it.
That's true. But yeah, you and Bree can work on that.
Okay. Cool.
You guys head towards the caves it talked about.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did I find in the housing? Oh, I found the gun. Yeah, that's right. Okay,
You
cool.
found you found
Whatever
a
the
gun and
closest
some
caves are.
bullets. Let's say you found 6 bullets and then 6 more in a box.
Great. So 12 bullets. I've got 3 magazines, basically.
These bullets are huge. This thing's like a big, dirty, hairy revolver.
Nice.
You guys head on into towards the cave coordinates, rumbling through the jungle, unmolested now. It seems that you haven't been using your comms.
Awesome.
Nice.
And if at any point you do detect that it's a bloom, it's kind of far away, looking for you with no success.
Losers.
Easily avoided. You have to stop a couple times because you encounter these giant domes made of trees.
Do we have any idea what's inside them?
Not unless you don't. Not only if you go inside them.
I think we should go inside there. It looks cool.
I'm gonna send asshole to any kind of opening, so he's gonna keep my little drone can fly up there and see if he can see.
If your drone goes up towards the top, it can kind of squeeze in through the canopy, which is very dense, knitted tight together. But it gets inside, and it's this big, open, empty dome. The floor is clear of any vegetation. And there's looked like something growing on the walls, sort of spiraling all the way up to the top. And as your drone goes to investigate on the camera, you see it looks like moss, except the moss has grown into words.
Whoa.
What does it say?
You start reading it. Maybe you go down to the bottom and try to find where it starts. And it's reading, "There I found myself on the other side of the sun, and there was nowhere to go but down. And my daughter was there, and no one else saw me except for the sunlight. And then there was," and like it just rambles on like
That was
this giant run-on sentence.
Did you have that written down?
No.
That was very cool how quickly you rattled that off.
But I had my lighter, but it didn't fill my cup. It kept spilling over, and no one knew that I loved them. And like, it just keeps going like this.
I
But it
want
does
to.
say something.
I want
but it
to.
does
I
say
just want to.
something
I
about
could
a
sit here
daughter.
for like 30 minutes and listen to Lincoln be schizophrenic.
What does it mean?
Unfortunately, I could probably keep going.
But it does mention something about a daughter.
It mentions a lot of things. It mentions daughters, dogs, cars, home,
Okay.
fear, death,
Ups.
Okay.
love, sex, hate. It's just like talking about this endless run-on sentence snaking up around the inside of this dome
In moss.
in moss.
What's like the point font on this moss?
They're like this. The letters about this big.
Huh.
They're about 6 to 8 inches tall.
And when it ends, like at the top of the spiral, does it end on anything, or is it just like in the middle of a word?
It just stops. It just starts and it just stops.
Weird. Very weird.
Very cool.
Do you feel like you've been
What else is all
doing-
Is it that's all that's going on in the dome? Is
That's what's going on in the
Consciousness.
dome, yeah.
weird.
Super weird.
that dome beatnik poetry? Get it fresh right here.
Yo, first it was sunlight.
And as you keep going, you do see a couple more of these domes.
Cool. Each time we drive by one, I have asshole. I steer around it, and asshole flies up and just takes some pictures of the inside.
Cool. It's mostly in Common, but some of it is in Elvish, some of it is in Dwarvish, a little bit of Draconic sprinkled in there. It's very strange.
That's super cool.
So the doctor said in her journal that it seemed like things would be incorporated to the planet. Seems like there might be a mix of some consciousnesses producing this.
Well,
I concur.
it's possible that when she was absorbed, the planet absorbed her consciousness as well.
Well, there's different languages here too.
Yeah, I send Minella
Could be
up transcripts of the other languages so she can send down translations.
I can do that probably pretty easily, but
You just have to plug it in. I don't have the database down here. You do.
I'm sure it'll be just as nonsensical.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Thoughts.
If it mentions, I just want to. If it mentions and also don't touch the eye. That's what did this.
Keyword 7.
Yeah, keyword 7.
Yeah, you can get the computer start chewing on that. You guys get to the coordinates. There's sort of this craggy cliff face with these porous openings that look like they go down into some kind of cave system. You're in sort of a swampy area, and the truck's tires sort of sink into the swamp when you stop. Not so much that you wouldn't be able to get out, but clearly the ground is soft.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, can we pull this into the cave, or is the opening
With
not
some
big enough?
finagling, you might be able to tuck this inside of an opening.
Yeah,
I think we want to get it as mostly into the cave as we can, and maybe cover it up a little bit.
that's exactly
Yeah, you can do
foliage.
that. You cover it up. This little cave you found for it doesn't go any deeper. You'll have to look for a different one.
Back it in, so if we need to get out, we can just.
exactly.
As you get out, you sort of step on that soft, mushy ground, and your foot sort of sinks into it.
Well,
And it's cold on the surface, and then it's warm, and then it's cold, and then it's warm again.
That's gross.
It's a bug!
And then Pip and Percy, you both look over towards this large pond, and you see a 15 to 20 foot wide head, sort of crocodilian, surface, flare its nostrils, and these big eyes look at you.
It has eyes, so it's not psychic and evil.
And it just looks at you.
What color are the eyes?
The eyes are
Yellow.
red,
Okay.
but like the way stone is red.
Well, he's like obviously evil. If his eyes were a different color, I'd say something different. But want to blow it up?
Hasn't
It
made a
sort
move
of
yet.
bellows.
Don't piss off the giant crocodile,
This
Pip.
like deep bellowing sound.
How massive is it?
Its head is like 15 to 20 feet long,
Oh, damn. I was thinking
Yeah.
and it sort of rumbles at you,
I don't
and
think
this
we can
deep
blow that
sound that sort of rattles your bones, but it doesn't move. Other than that, you
Let
see
it
the
be your
mud sort of
friend.
I'm gonna like edge
ripple.
my way over back to a cave opening and not towards the creepy crocodile.
It makes no moves towards you.
Exactly how I like it.
Hey, I'm Percy.
It reacts not at all.
Great. Yeah. Didn't think so. Other animal didn't do that either. I'll just back away.
You start looking in the caves. Can I get perception checks or survival checks?
God, please don't be massive eggs.
Don't give him ideas, Alex. Oof, natural one.
Pip, you like spaceship corridors. They're planned. They're usually in straight lines. They're square. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But Percy, you're sort of picking your way through these caves. It's dark. You turn on your dark vision scope, sort of leading Pip, unless Pip turns his light on.
I'll turn my light on real low.
Yeah, just enough to illuminate where your feet are gonna step.
Mm-hmm. I'll do like Fallout style. My little it's funny because my name is Pip. My little thing on my arm, my computer, my rig,
Yeah,
my custom rig. I'll use the light on that. Like
yeah. Just turn the light on real low.
yeah.
Percy, you start noticing pictographs, petroglyphs in the walls.
Oh. Of
They're
what?
humanoids.
Doing.
Some hunting, running, fighting, dancing. All kinds of people things.
Do we see in the pictographs, or rather, does Percy see in the pictographs? 'Cause, any signs of technology? Like, are these people who were here with technology and then like devolved and started drawing pictographs?
Percy, give me a sense motive.
Ooh.
You can sense the intent of the artist.
Ah, God, that's my second one tonight.
It's dark, and you're not an anthropologist.
I'm not.
But you're not the only one in this cave right now.
I can describe it to Pip.
Yeah. And Pip, you can put your light up and look at them.
Yeah.
Give me a check you could argue is applicable.
Well, I think that this is like engineering. No, I don't know. Perception, I think.
I mean,
is
if you're specifically
Yeah, I'll
looking
take
for
perception,
technology,
yeah.
you could probably.
Give me a perception check. Since
26.
you had that idea, you're looking. Your light's going over what looks like a hunt, and then a dance, and then some sort of ceremony, and then it lands on a pretty accurate reproduction layout of that outpost you were at.
Say, there we go.
Complete with a little truck.
Settlement number 2 or the lab?
The lab.
What do these pictographs seem to be, like, done in?
Scratched into the stone.
Oh, okay. No organic matter?
Not that you see.
Damn it, Jim! It's gonna carbon date that shit.
Radiocarbon dating.
Yeah! It's organic!
Yeah. What's the half-life on that stuff?
On carbon?
Half-life of carbon. 14.
Which one? Oh, okay.
14 is the one the half-life of carbon 14 is 5,700 years.
Well, the thing is, we don't really use carbon dating that much anymore because we've got other things that are better.
Mhm.
So.
But I was curious.
Yeah.
Still
Cool.
a useful and interesting piece of history.
Well, what do you
Absolutely.
do now? How do you proceed?
Do those drawings seem to abruptly stop at any point after the drawing
They
of the
don't. They
lab?
seem to get denser down certain corridors and more sparse down others.
All right. Could use that as an indication. Percy, you not sure?
Let's follow the
Yeah. If I look really closely at the ground, do I see like any tracks in here?
Yeah, as you get towards the denser sections, you see what looks like evidence of foot traffic. Hard
Like
to tell
human
how-
feet.
Yeah, human feet.
Ooh,
Something bipedal anyway. Something bipedal and wearing shoes.
weird.
It's a good sign, honestly.
Not treaded, but clearly covered. And as you keep going, you hear voices.
Are they speaking common?
They are, but you can't quite make out what they're saying yet. And Pip, you hear it as well.
Do you think we should announce our presence?
It's better than surprising them and getting shot.
What if we do both and I yell surprise?
That might get
I
a
think
shot.
that would startle the guards. And you look behind you, and there is a human male standing behind you.
One of the guards?
He says, "No." He's quite pale. Clearly from being inside. He's got long hair tied in the back. He's wearing sort of an approximation of clothes you would find normal, but they're made out of leather, similar to some of the hides of the creatures you've seen.
Okay.
He's got a metal knife on his hip, a bow and a quiver over his back, and he's holding a spear, a short spear.
Is the spear leveled at them?
It's not. He doesn't
He doesn't have a torch or anything?
No, he does not have a torch or anything.
And it's still pitch black in here, right?
Still pitch black in here, except for Pip's very dim light.
You guys keep it awfully dark in here. How do you know your way around?
He says, I know these tunnels like the back of my hand, and don't worry, the village is quite well lit.
Village.
It's been a while since we've had more folks like you marooned here, but don't worry, we're happy to take the visitors.
We're not marooned. We're just visiting.
That's what they all say. I keep waiting for one of them to be telling the truth.
Oh, I am. So.
Really? Well, then I think we should take you to the village immediately. I've been rude.
Yeah, I know we're gonna make it off this planet because it'd be a really shitty way for the campaign to end.
It would. You roll new characters.
I'll just stop taking my pills until all of my scores are 0.
He puts his hand out and he says, Tarek.
Pip.
Tarek.
Percy, nice to meet you. And you are? He
Sorry.
puts his hand out to you.
Oh,
His name is Tarek.
I already said Pip.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Shakes your hand.
Oh, I thought that was just a noise you were
And he says, this way. He leads you into the tunnels more. The sounds of talking get louder. The pictographs turn into just these continuous designs carved into the wall. They're beautiful. And then you see light up ahead, and you come into these sort of larger chambers. This sort of vaulted big cavern with these sort of strange bioluminescent torches and small fires going. And a village. There's buildings and things built up along the walls. There's
Cool.
people running around. It's a town. You see people of lots of different races. You see humans and dragonborn and elves and a couple dwarves. There's children.
Guys, I just had a really cool idea.
Yeah.
We've got this dragon totem, and it is a powerful psychic presence. And there's a bad psychic presence on this planet.
Wasn't the whole reason we came to this planet to bring the totem?
Yeah, but now I'm thinking that there could be like a psychic fight.
Yeah, I hear what you're trying to say. Set up an episode of SDUU psychic battle between the planet and the totem.
I watched that.
I'd probably watch that too.
What if Solo Defenders is based on our lives?
Dude, you know what?
I'll be the Red
waiting for
Ranger.
in like season 3 we find out the Solar Defenders, Universe Uniters are real people.
Like they're actual, like an adventuring party, like a
Yeah.
really high level party.
It's just
Yeah,
a
they're a
documentary.
really high level party.
It's just brass
And one
ring.
of their droids is really like they have an android that travels with them that's really advanced. Like they don't know it's there,
And
but
it's
it
just constantly
documents
shooting and
everything.
editing, and it's like,
Yeah, it documents
Great.
everything and then edits it together for a show, and it's like making money,
And they don't know it.
and they don't know.
dude, I want to run into the Solar Defenders.
Anyway, thanks
I
for
know.
a really great idea for a later
Way later,
episode.
season 3, season 4. Yeah.
I'll be sure to remember that for later. We'll decide if it's before or after the Galaxy Go-Go's episode.
And the musical
Um,
episode.
And the music. That's the musical episode. The Galaxy
Oh,
Go-Go's
okay.
episode is the musical
Yeah,
episode.
That makes sense.
obviously.
It's the musical episode with special guest Galaxy Go-Go's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They write all the music for the thing.
They show up and play a song in the cafeteria for no reason.
It's very weird. It's really poorly done.
Is that
Who the?
is that Destinus Childless?
You guys are brought in, and he says, "Come with me. I think there's someone who's going to want to see you."
Oh?
And he says, "Yes, she likes to meet all the newcomers. Don't worry, she's quite friendly."
Well, lead the way, sir.
He leads you through the village.
It's the daughter.
It's gonna be the daughter.
Is it the daughter?
It's totally the daughter.
Could be a
the
son.
vi-
Psych, it's the daughter.
The village is quaint. It's actually it actually seems like kind of a nice place to live if there weren't like evil demons that lived like upstairs.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Um,
Yeah?
sorry, lost my train of thought. He takes you up, sort of up the side of the cave. This little switchbacks to this little alcove that's been cut into the side of the cavern, and you're brought inside, and it's really, really like filled with these sort of hanging pieces of sort of crystal and glass that do fun things with the light, and sitting on this sort of cushiony sort of mound of hides and furs and things
Like a dais.
yeah, kind of, is a woman who looks to be maybe 75.
That
Or
sounds
so.
about right.
Damn, I should have brought all those keepsakes.
And she sort of looks up. You can have them if you want. I mean,
I have them.
I figured you took all the journals.
yeah.
I took the journals. And
She
took
looks
pictures.
up at you.
I took all the things.
More off-worlders. I would say it's a pleasure to meet you, but I doubt your journey here has been anything but.
Wasn't horribly unfun.
That's a double negative. That
I
would mean
know.
our journey was
She's
good.
75. She's 75, and I'm
I
like
understand
it.
her perfectly.
That's
Ain't
just
nothing
Pip.
I don't
Sorry,
understand.
sorry. That was just Pip being an asshole.
Yeah. She talks right over Pip. I trust you've had a run-in with the anomaly.
Oh yes.
We've met quite a few groups of 7.
That sounds about right. Arquand making its displeasure with your arrival known. Or perhaps pleasure, who knows how it feels.
Feels. The planet?
The planet. I suppose I have a lot of questions to answer.
I mean, just a few. Like, the planet feels?
Well, I mean, actually, Pip, that does direct out. Remember the journals? I waved the journals.
Her eyes kind of go wide. And she says, "Where did you get that?"
Off your mom's dead body.
I found one at a settlement, and I found one in... I grave robbed your mom. Found one at
She
a
sort of
research station.
holds her hand out for them.
See?
She takes them and she starts
They
leafing
belong to
through
a
them.
Dr. Sarah Hallion?
Yes, that was my mother.
Shock.
Uh, as if that's shocking.
Where's M. Night Shyamalan? He needs to see this twist.
I'm out of
Uh,
water. I would have done a spit take.
I would have been offended. It's barely a twist. Um, uh, she says, she starts telling the whole story. You know, they came here. Her mother was a scientist. She was studying this. When things started to get really bad, the ones who couldn't get to a ship fled underground, and that her mother didn't make it. Um, and she says, I'm one of the only ones who's still alive who was there. Most of the ones younger than me hardly remember it.
I'm very sorry. That sounds extremely difficult. I found these with the first journal. They
She takes all the little pieces and she sort of looks at this one coin that seems to be like a chip, like of some kind, like a casino chip, and it seems to have some sort of special,
It's her father's.
some sort of special meaning here. But she doesn't mention anything. And she starts looking through the journals, and she says, "We send." Hunters occasionally come back with more things scavenged from the old settlements, but we rarely go near them. Arquand recognizes our minds, and for some reason, in those places built for us, it is easier for it to reach out. I spent my entire life here trying to piece together how Arquand works, understand it, how to maybe protect ourselves from it. And she sort of weakly stands up and takes you over to this beaded curtain and lets you into this other room.
I'm just gonna
Sort of,
as we're working over, like she's like, we're trying to study, understand it. I'm like, so you know that like comms are bad, right?
yes, of course.
All right, cool. Just checking.
The journals, Pip. It's right here in the journals. He didn't read them. I'm sorry.
It's all right. She leads
Oh
you
my
into this
God,
room
this is such
where
a
the
great
walls are
conversation.
covered. The walls are covered in equations and math and like advanced mathematics and physical calculations. There's these little slates of stone that look like there's been a bunch of calculations done on them. And she says, we've been spending our the last 60 years trying to understand it, but we don't have computers, and doing it all longhand takes a while.
I had like,
And we don't have any. We didn't have any readings until now. We didn't have any good data.
asshole does like a quick spin with the camera,
Mhm.
OCRs all the math and starts processing it, double
Excellent.
checking her
As-
figures, looking, you know.
Asshole does that. He finds that it is this big, complex equation that they have constructed by hand that he is able to just plug right in, and it works perfectly.
Do I solve the last missing bit?
If you start taking that data, you can have them start Asshole start playing with it, and she sort of calls in some of her assistants who are helping her with this research, and they start trying to use this computer that they don't really know how to use. But with you there, they can figure it out.
I want to discover Halion's constant.
Hell yeah, that's what it's called.
So this is an equation that can predict what?
It's a bunch of data and research that is meant to help understand the way this Arquand thing works. And the drone is chewing on it, and the people are sort of chittering to each other with this now extremely powerful tool for finishing their research.
Okay.
And she says,
Fucking Arquand, how does it work?
"We are honored that we are so happy that you have brought us these gifts, these things that will let us finally maybe solve the work my mother started so long ago. It is unfortunate that you may be trapped with us here forever, but know that these gifts..."
Oh no, sorry, we're just visiting.
You're just what?
Just visiting. Checking the planet out, maybe dropping off a dragon totem, nothing special.
We've potentially
How,
got an extraction in orbit.
really? Well, that is a first. It's nice to meet some explorers smart enough to send down a scouting party, but do you really think you'll be able to get yourselves back off the planet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You got two of the best pilots in the galaxy right here.
It's true.
I can't refute that.
I have no data to back
Exactly.
up otherwise.
You're certainly the two best pilots on the planet.
Well, thank you.
Well, yeah, I mean, but by induction or deduction or which one's that?
Sort of chuckles and then coughs.
You alright, miss?
I'm 75 and I live in a hunter-gatherer society with no advanced medicine. I'm not fine.
Underground.
That's fair. To be fair,
Or it's
the
incredibly
hunter-gatherer
dusty.
diet is quite nutritious. I have a friend who's an anthropologist who told me that. They're very healthy. Their teeth are in excellent condition, although I know nothing about dentistry.
As we have established. She says, how do you plan to get off the planet?
Well,
Usually there's an explosion involved and it just kind of works.
yeah, that's about where I was going with it too. Now, let's see. We've got the parts from the truck, combined with, I think, I saw a transferic responder on that comms tower. Those typically have some of the, and I start naming some more like parts that they typically are made of, and like a compound that is typically inside of that kind of antenna that we could extract and use to the part that fried in our engine. And then the shielding that those things have, right? So like antennas are like really, they've got lots of power in them, right? Because you got to get the signal to go really far, but you also want like, you don't want the signal that the antenna is doing to like fuck up all the technology that's sending the signal into it. So they've got really strong shielding and things like that. And so there's this particular material, Starfinder material, that they use to make these antennas, and I think that we can use that to create a shield around the particular parts of our engine that failed. We can use some of the parts from the truck to repair that piece, and we can fly the fuck on out of here.
That all seems like it might work.
It's also entirely possible, Pip, that that thing that Bray and Cloud were working on will work.
What thing?
The thing that Bree and Claude are working on with Visoff.
Manola,
I'm not
back
sure what
up
you're
on the
talking
ship.
about.
Their thing is done. They've shielded these weird, janky little escape pod shuttles as best they can.
All right. And what about the radiation system for the shields?
That's also done.
I'd like to start with that. Can I send a text to my bitches and be like, trying to communicate to planet through radiation, hang tight.
Pretty
And,
sure
like,
underground we won't get that.
You send the message and receive no response.
Yeah, we told you we were heading into the cave before we left. Like, we can't get any signal down here.
That's okay. I'll just try it.
You can't even see the truck signal because it's in a cave, right? Like,
It's also
I'll
off.
just. So, what I want to do
assume.
is
yeah.
have like multiple people set up across a couple different terminals. So, you know, one of us will be monitoring planetary sensors that we have. One of us is going to be deciding what frequency and what interval of radiation bursts we're going to be sending out. And then the other person is, you know, looking at all the data recorded, like logs of that as we do it, and like measuring response.
Just have Chicken hitting retry on your message every 5 seconds.
Dude, Chicken's probably there trying to help too and flapping around being absolutely useless.
I'll get through to him, Captain, I promise.
I can set Chicken up on the fake station that Pip set up for him that doesn't actually do anything if he
You
really
try
wants
to do that, and Chicken kind of like scowls at you and says, Manola, I really want to help.
He's actually pretty good now. Like, he's...
All right. I'm going to put you on sensors. If you see any dangerous amounts of radiation heading for us, heading for where the last signature was on our people, anything that you think will hit the ship or damage our equipment, you need to pilot us out of here fast.
So it gives you a little nod.
Okay, so go to your station and be ready.
Yeah, and his panel doesn't not do anything. His panel's hooked up to things.
I know his panel can fly, so I'm letting him be emergency pilot. And I'll tell him he's acting emergency pilot. I like dub him.
Knight him, acting emergency pilot.
Yeah.
He gets in position. And are you using the shields or the particle beam?
We're gonna do shields, I think. I don't want them to interpret it as an attack. Is what we concluded. So I don't know who's on those terminals, but somebody's looking at logs.
Lincoln, it's a Star Trek idea. It's the navigational deflector. Always.
Basically.
Yeah. So somebody's looking at the logs. That's probably me. Somebody's working on the intervals. That's probably Visoff.
That's why I want it to be the shield. It's your deflector shield. It's remodulated.
You reverse the polarity of the navigational deflector.
You remodulated it to emit, psychic tachyons.
Dude, fucking tachyon particles. Get out. No. And somebody's
I'm very upset that you didn't say neutron flow. I'm just gonna put that up.
Dude,
Listen,
I was thinking reversing the polarity to the neutron star the whole time. And somebody's on the planetary sensors.
We just have a Star Trek versus Doctor Who reference off.
No.
I think you'd win, Alex.
Okay. All right, we're just gonna start at like the lower range frequencies and just send out like a burst and see if we get any kind of response.
You send out your first burst.
One hurts.
No response.
Sending another one. No response. Another one.
Rule of 3.
On the third pulse, you do your third pulse. And then the whole planet
explodes. We're all dead.
Does the same, responds with the same thing.
Do we feel anything when that happens?
Yes.
Okay.
Is the ship in danger?
You're backed up enough. You don't think so.
That's because that's what chicken's on for.
Yeah.
The
whole planet responds with the same pulse, and all of you guys, everyone down there, kind of clutches their head in that sort of headache way that you guys have been experiencing as your guys' radiation alarms go off for a second for the pulse, and the whole planet, the rocks kind of like there's a tremor.
Okay. Here's what I want to do, Lincoln.
And people sort of start to like, whoa, what the hell is going on?
Is this not normal?
No, this is new.
So here's what I've got. Okay, here's what I need to tell you. I've got my thing to like reduce the DC by 5 for identifying very rare life forms or life science. I also, as a Xenoseeker, have the quick pigeon feat. So it's a I don't share language with something I'm encountering, and if the thing I'm encountering is willing, we can spend 10 minutes attempting to converse with a 25 DC culture check afterward. I basically want to use a version of that with the radiation to try to communicate with this thing.
If you try reducing the intensity, by the way, because that might not kill us. Keep the same wavelength.
You're not doing your psychic uplink thing?
Is the 6 hours passed?
The 6 hours have passed.
Oh, okay. Well, then I need to be hooked up to like medical equipment, but I guess we could wheel that out here.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody can take over my radiation station.
You should have like a dead man switch, and like if you let go, the helmet drops onto your head.
That sounds really good. I'll set that up.
It's just a string.
That's okay. That sounds perfectly.
They get you all hooked up in the med bay. They have you hooked up. They have you hooked up to your psychic enhancer through the radiation emitter thing.
I mean, we have intership comms, so I can still be directing the thing on the bridge, so that's fine.
It's a very Star Trek-y setup you have where you're trying to use the ship to amplify Maynala's psychic ability to communicate with a planet.
Yep, yep. I think I saw that episode.
I feel like it was a good one. There might have been time travel. And as you guys, the episode is going to end as Maynala is sort of like, and she closes her eyes and the helmet starts to glow as she attempts to connect psychically with the planet Arquand, with Pip and Percy and a whole village of people below the surface.
Okay.
And that is where I'm going to leave you all this week.
Whee!
Shitballs. Damn.
Thank you so much, players, for surviving another very spooky episode
Very
of
spooky.
Into the Black. I'll totally take laser taser phasers from anyone who wants to give them to me. And Jake, do you have anything you'd like to tell the audience?
Yeah. So we do on Wednesdays, Princes of Azamar, which is our D&D live stream, which you should tune into. This Wednesday we might not play. There's some scheduling stuff going on. I will post on the page one way or the other and let folks know. But the whole party basically just got arrested by the mages for doing magic in the capital city of the Empire of, like, don't do magic or we'll arrest you.
That's what Azamar means.
Yeah, exactly. Azamar actually means Unchained Empire. Sorry, I have a whole language that I wrote. I'm a nerd. All right, so tune in for some D&D on Wednesday. I promise it's not as dweeby as I just made it sound.
Just a lot. Just a lot.
It's super cool. There's lots of action.
We'll see you then.
Much action. Such soup.
Excellent. See you all next week. Goodbye.
And there's lots of carbs on our other show.